made me think that my life would finally become better, especially because my boyfriend was very loving and promised to help me with everything, including my financial problems. I was finally able to live a normal college life and even live it to the fullest. I was happy. I felt so lucky, so blessed, so privileged. But that didn't last for long. Not when I found out my BF was cheating on me. I got mad. I screamed. I broke things. Left him for good. I got depressed for weeks, but I knew I needed to let it go and move on. I decided to start all over again and rely only on myself. And life as a college student was not easy. And life as a struggling college student with an after-class office job in New York City was even harder. I worked the 4 to 11 shift at a big company office. It wasn't the best.
Go on YouTube.
Francis Bacon peers out from a crater in the middle of nowhere. Barbed wire and dead bodies cover the ground all around. Bacon brings up his Ross rifle and peers through the smoke. He spots a German helmet poking up from the enemy trench. Bacon takes a twig from his satchel and places it in his mouth. He chews slowly, knowing that the twig will give him protection, like it did from his Ojibwa ancestors. He takes a deep breath and holds it to steady his aim. He squeezes the trigger. The German soldier falls to the ground. It's the second battle of the throne, and Francis Pekamago's first battle. This was not his first kill, or his last though, because Francis Pekamago is the most deadly sniper in World War I. After getting another confirmed kill, he crawls back to the Allied trenches. He relays information on the location of the enemy troops that are across the battlefield. Suddenly, Pekamago and the commanding officers hear screaming from further down the trench. They run to see what's happening. Yellow-colored gas fills the ditch. The men who were yelling now lay dead in the mud, poisoned by a weaponized gas. Pekamago and the other members of the 1st Canadian Infantry Battalion look on in horror. This is the first time the Allied forces have seen mustard gas and its deadly effects. The battalion evacuates the trench and relocates to the less deadly area of the battlefield. The second battle of Ypres rages on. Pekamago continues to scout and relay vital information to his commanders. He crawls through the blood-covered ground of no man's land to ensure that the Allies have the most up-to-date information on the enemy. While scouting, he picks up any German soldier that he spots with his rifle. His kill count rises. Unfortunately, his battalion loses almost half of its men in just 3 days. War is hell. Pekamago is finding out quickly that the only way to win the war is through detailed reconnaissance and the deadly shots from his rifle. In his next battle, Francis Pekamago adds to his confirmed kill count. He also begins to capture enemies for information. If he can take the enemy alive, then the Allies can use the information extracted from the enemy soldiers to plan for their next attack. In June of 1916, Pekamago fought in the Battle of Balsora. He's recorded as capturing dozens of prisoners. Over the course of the entire war, it's estimated that Pekamago captured approximately 300 prisoners in total. Using tracking and hunting skills he learned from other Ojibwa members before the war, Pekamago can practically disappear. He sneaks into no man's land under the darkness of night and buries himself in the debris and dirt. He patiently waits until an unknowing German soldier crosses his path and then captures them. Pekamago can also use his tracking skills to figure out the routes enemies are using to cross the battlefield and ambush them. He uses his superior marksmanship skills to fire a shot at the enemy's feet. The bullet impacts the ground just ahead of the German soldiers, spraying dirt up in the air. There would be no doubt in the enemy's mind that they had 2 options: murder Pekamago, be interrogated, or be shot by the deadliest sniper of the war. However, what Pekamago does next makes capturing 300 enemy soldiers look like child's play. Several months later, Pekamago is deployed to the battlefield. Here, he's engaged in heavy fighting. He's set up in a sniper position and is picking off enemy German soldiers left and right. He starts to reposition when he is shot. Pekamago is knocked down by the impact of a bullet through the leg. He has to crawl back to the trenches through fallen allies and muddy earth. Bullets whiz over his head. He makes it back to the trench, drops down, and receives medical attention. As soon as he recovers from his gunshot wound, Pekamago immediately requests to be returned to the battlefield. His request is granted, much to the dismay of the enemy. His next battle, after recovering from his gunshot wound, is where he receives his first military medal. After his return, Pekamago is deployed to the Battle of Passchendaele in November 1917. The Allies desperately need to capture the Passchendaele Ridge for a strategic advantage. Around 20,000 Allied soldiers crawl from crater to crater. The soldiers need to be coordinated so the attack on each flank can happen at the appropriate time. Francis Pegamankabo spreads across the battlefield. He dives behind cover wherever possible and crawls through the mud to reach the next crater. Grenades detonate in every direction. Shrapnel flies through the air. The bullets from entrenched machine guns cause the ground to explode all around him. But Pegamankabo he has been relaying information on enemy capabilities to his commanders. He runs from one side of the battlefield to the other, stopping only to gaze into his scope and note important information on the enemy. He risks his life to make sure that the Allied forces have the reconnaissance necessary to win the battle. Pegamankabo only stops to observe the enemy, but if an opportunity presents itself, he takes the shot. Each time he lets loose a bullet kill to his total body count. But sniping is secondary on this mission. He needs to get his observations back to the commanders. He stops, takes a shot, crouches behind the remains of a truck, takes another shot, dives into a crater, peers out, takes a final shot. Each one hits its mark. Eventually, Pegamankabo makes it back to the command post with all his vital information. The Allies take Passchendaele Ridge, but not before losing 16,000 out of the 20,000 Allied soldiers in the battle. After Passchendaele, Pegamankabo is awarded his first medal, with a citation saying that he did excellent work to keep in touch with the flanks and advising command of units he had seen. He also played a pivotal role in guiding relief support across the battlefield. Reinforcements were supposed to be sent to one of the flanks, but instead, and the soldiers were out of position. Pegamankabo took it upon himself to lead reinforcements to the correct area of the battlefield, which helped secure victory. Unfortunately, after all his hard work, Pegamankabo is awarded something other than just a medal. He comes down with pneumonia. Pneumonia mixed with inhalation of small amounts of poison gas causes Pegamankabo to be hospitalized in England at the end of 1917. He suffered from chest pains the rest of his life. But a little pneumonia and poison gas won't stop the deadliest sniper of World War I. As soon as he's well enough to return to duty, he asks to be redeployed. Pegamankabo is sent back to battle to rack up more sniper kills. He finds himself at the Battle of Scar in August 1918, where he receives the second bar to his military career. This part of the story is especially crazy because it involves the Allies firing on their own men. Pegamankabo is providing sniper support to the rest of the Allied forces at Scar. This will be his final battle of the war, and after it's over, Pegamankabo will be confirmed as the deadliest sniper of World War I. The Allied forces push forward to the enemy line, but they're running dangerously low on ammo. If they run out of bullets, they'll either be pushed back and the battle will be lost, or surrounded and massacred. Pegamankabo does the only thing he can, be a hero. Pegamankabo recognizes the danger of being surrounded by the enemy. He knows if the battalion does not secure more ammunition, it will be over for all of them. He takes it upon himself to make sure this does not happen. Pegamankabo goes over the top of the trench, barely avoiding the spray of heavy machine gun and rifle fire. He moves from dead soldier to dead soldier collecting ammunition. He secures rounds from both Allied and German soldiers. Pegamankabo knows the battalion needs ammo, and a lot of it, so he's not picky about where he's grabbing it from. Miraculously, he's able to bring back sufficient ammunition to allow the battalion to push forward and capture the enemy line. Before Pegamankabo's battalion can celebrate, tragedy occurs. Artillery starts detonating all around them, except this is not enemy artillery, it's Allied friendly fire. The artillery barrage is supposed to be supporting the battalion as they move up the battlefield. The idea is to blow the enemy to smithereens, not the Allied forces. Unfortunately, the artillery does not receive word that the Allied forces have reached and taken the enemy line, so shells continue to rain down on Pegamankabo and his battalion. Pegamankabo runs back to his commanding officer, dodging friendly artillery shells along the way. The CO cannot get in contact with the artillery line, and therefore the firestorm continues. In a moment of clarity, Pegamankabo knows what he needs to do. He sprints back towards his battalion, passing into the firing zone again. He later recalled watching his comrades go up in pieces, shell after shell. Pegamankabo makes it to the middle of the battalion and pulls out a flare gun he secured. He fires the white burning flare into the air. It marches like a shooting star across the sky. Moments later, the artillery fire stops. The flare signaled to the artillery that the German line had been secured, and they could cease firing. After the battle was over, Pegamankabo had secured the last of his 378 confirmed kills. We know his hunting and camouflage skills helped him become the most deadly sniper of World War I. But was there more to his story? He had not been trained specifically as a sniper by the Canadian Army, so what made him so deadly? Well, maybe it had something to do with the supernatural. Pegamankabo carried spiritual items with him during the battle. One of these items was a medicine bag given to him by an elder Indian woman before the war. Megamagbo stated that the bag was made of skin tightly bound with a leather thong. Sometimes it seemed to be hard as a rock, and at other times it appeared to contain nothing. What was really inside, I don't know. I wore it in the trenches. Word of his connection to the spirit realm spread through his battalion. He was sometimes asked to call on the spirit world of the Ojibwa people. One occasion that he was asked to call on the Ojibwa spirits was when his battalion was trapped in the trenches. Mustard gas was closing in on all sides. Soldiers began to pray and write letters home to loved ones as death came. If they tried to go over the wall, they would be shot by the enemy. If they stayed where they were, they would be poisoned by mustard gas. It was recounted that the general gave Francis Picamonto a cigarette, and knowing he had called on the supernatural before in dire situations, asked if he could do anything to save the men. Picamonto lit the cigarette and invoked the spirits of the wind. Tobacco was often used by the Ojibwa for ritualistic purposes. In this case, communicating with the wind gods, he asked the wind spirits to swiftly blow the advancing gas away. Everyone surprised, the winds changed. The gas was blown back toward the German trenches. And this was not the only story of the supernatural that was associated with Francis Picamonto. On a different mission, rain and bad weather had halted an Allied advance. Before they could attack the German lines, they needed dry conditions that would allow the soldiers to cross into no man's land without slipping or getting stuck in the mud. Some of the other members of the Francis Picamonto were called by the Ojibwa spirits to improve the weather. One of the officers gave Picamonto some tobacco and used it to invoke the sky spirits, asking the good pity and to improve the weather for him and his comrades. Accounts from other soldiers say that moments later the rain slowed and the sky brightened. It would seem the gods favored Picamonto. Perhaps that's one of the reasons he was such an effective sniper. It never hurts to have the gods on your side. World War I came to an end, and Francis Picamonto returned home as the most highly decorated indigenous soldier in Canadian military history. But his greatest legacy might be what he did after the war. Upon coming back to Canada, Picamonto became a vocal advocate for indigenous people's rights. He was elected chief of what today is the Wasauksing First Nation and became a strong advocate for his people. He worked with the federal government to move toward equal rights and treatment for indigenous people. He passed away in 1952 at age 64. And although he didn't live to see all his dreams for the indigenous people of Canada come true, he was vital in laying the groundwork for equality. Now check out another deadly sniper in our video, The White Death, the best sniper known to man. Of all the specialized officers in the military, there are few more fascinating and mysterious than the sniper. The image of a lone soldier perched above the action, picking off enemies one by one with their precise shots is iconic. These expert marksmen are specially trained to be effective and deadly while hiding out in plain sight, sometimes literally miles away. They're highly disciplined and incredibly dangerous, and an exceptional sniper can make all the difference in a military conflict. This video is all about 10 of the most impressive, famous, and lethal snipers in military history. From record-breaking kill counts to incredible marksmanship, get ready to learn all about the top 10 best snipers in the history of mankind. Is your country on the list? Stay tuned and find out. Number 10. Zhang Taofeng, the lethal learner. Zhang Taofeng was a Chinese sniper who fought in the Korean War. Despite not using a magnifying scope, binoculars, or any other equipment that would allow him to spot targets from far away, he made approximately 214 confirmed kills in just 32 days of combat. It's also been suggested that he made those confirmed kills with only 442 bullets, working out to around 2 bullets a kill. If you don't understand why that's so impressive, just to know that reports estimate that around 250,000 rounds were fired per dead insurgent in the modern Iraq and Afghanistan wars. Taofeng failed to achieve his surgical sniping success by analyzing his early failures and rigorously improving upon them. When he first attempted to fire on an enemy, he fired 12 shots and missed all of them. He was almost killed in the ensuing enemy fire. This terrifying near-death experience led him to analyze why he failed and develop a new shooting technique using the iron sights of his trusty service rifle. After this, he was able to refine his shooting and achieve the impressive kill count that was later reported. It also gives us a heartwarming message about staying humble and learning from your mistakes. Next, we move from the frozen hills of North Korea to the jungles of Vietnam. Number 9. Adelbert Waldron, the terror of Vietnam. Adelbert Waldron was a United States sniper during the Vietnam War and is regarded as the most but the world finds itself on the precipice of another world war. As all the armies of the world come together to fight across every forest, field, sand dune, swamp, and mountain on Earth, the one question on everyone's mind is what tools will enable them to win? Despite all the advances of modern weaponry, at the end of the day, this war will be fought and won by the common infantrymen. But in this epic contest of everyone versus everyone, which infantry rifle would give a country the competitive edge needed on today's most technologically advanced battlefields? Number 10, the Galil. Starting off this list is one of the most popular yet unheard of assault rifles in the world. The Galil was Israel's response to the prolific use of the AK-47 by Arab nations they were at war with. They wanted a rifle that could operate in the sand and dust of the Middle East, but was still fine-tuned and accurate. Their solution was to build the Galil of the Finnish Valmet, which was a direct clone of the AK-47. The end result was a rugged rifle that was capable of both a 5.56 NATO round and was fired with a 7.62 51 NATO machine gun cartridge. The larger caliber Galil was meant to be a squad-combat weapon, while the lighter Galil was for the average infantryman. Both of these rifles served well, but they only saw limited action due to the Israeli Defense Forces acquiring large numbers of M16s from the U.S. The Galil also suffered from accuracy issues, since its effective range was only about 400 meters. But despite the limited use by Israel, the Galil was exported in great numbers and is currently in service with dozens of countries, making it one of the most prolific combat-tested rifles in the world today. Number 9, the FAMAS. Another obscure but you may have never heard of is the FAMAS. The FAMAS was first made for the French military in 1978 as a way to replace its aging semi-automatic rifles still in use since the end of World War II. It was an innovative design for the time, becoming one of the first mass-produced bullpup-style rifles, meaning the magazine was placed